boards. Wow! Gets a stick with some of the boards. Keeps it deep. He's got Alcock. One-timer scores! Cody Alcock with the overtime winner.
Back to the defenseman. Quick shot. Kick save. Rebound. Oh, what a save by Botkoff.
Jenkins. Kukawinski. Shot scores! 3-2 Fronts.
Well, the same dynamic duo that did it in the first period have done it here in the second period. Kukawinski and Jenkins.
And that will do it for the final game of the Frontenacs 2011-2012 season. A 5-1 loss to the Sudbury Wolves.
As the players come back and congratulate.
It's always like, trade this older player who wasn't working out for that older player who wasn't working out, and with his old team and try to build a team that way. And that's really not a formula for success in junior hockey, because you need to build, you need players to grow up together. And that was what you really saw that was different this year with the Kingston Frontenacs.
There seemed to be no structure with the Kingston Frontenacs before. It seemed to be some older guys, some younger guys, but they were never really on a true rebuild.
Look, really over the last 20 years, really what the Frontenacs have generally done is late in the season towards the trading deadline, they've picked up some veteran players to try to make a playoff run. That has never worked, and they've tried that recipe over and over again. I think the big difference is what they've done this time is really probably for the first time in at least a couple of decades, they've actually completely done a rebuild, bringing in young players, bringing in new faces, and trying to put the pieces in place that ultimately could result in a long playoff run or perhaps a championship team in 3 or 4 years down the road.
We've seen it with certain franchises here in the OHL. Windsor, when Warren Reichel and Bob Bugner took over that organization, I mean, they were in the same boat and trying to change the culture, trying to get some young players in place. And Kingston right now in a situation where I think if they look at the Windsor model and some of the other teams around the CHL, the blueprint is there to be successful, and I think right now they're going in the right direction.
Doug Gilmore has been given the reins for the hockey club. All decisions, anything to do with the on ice, anything to do with the hockey club, will now officially go through him.
Head coach
Doug Gilmore took over as the general manager. Todd Gill took over as the head coach. They sat down and decided that they're going to start from scratch with the blueprint and build the team up in a way that has never been done before with this organization.
I didn't know what to expect this year of the Kingston Frontenacs when they said they were going to rebuild. And now they're retooling, and they certainly did. At the start of the season, a lot of the old guard were let go or traded off, so they had over 20 plus trades going on for the season. So when they said they were going to rebuild, they rebuilt. So a lot of us had said it's time to rebuild, and they finally did it.
The blueprint, when we sat down with the ownership, sat down with the coaching staff meaning Darren Kiley too, as he's my assistant general manager, and obviously all my scouts. And this is the way we were going. This is the reason why we did this.
I think back in the summer, when Doug Gilmore took over, we had some pretty good meetings and decided that it was time for a change in the philosophy in terms of could we have made the playoffs this year? Probably, if we had kept some of the older players and traded away draft picks and added that way. But we felt it was time to try and recoup some of those draft picks.
With a shot, scores! Braden Blythe's first goal, and it puts the Fronts up 1-0.
We lost a lot of players last year that I did deal. The reason for that is because we wanted to load up on our draft picks. in the past, we felt that we didn't have a third round here, fourth round here, fifth round here, whatever it might be. So unfortunately, I had to sell some players that were going to be a big part of this hockey club, but in reality, would have been only with us for 1 year. So now we're pretty much loaded back up with all our picks. We're missing a second round the following year. Again, that's something that we'll be looking at the whole time, hopefully to get that back, and that was part of the Ryan Spooner deal.
When Doug took over, we were certainly missing a lot of draft picks, and we had to get those back in our mind so that we could move forward in the years to come, so that when it's time to maybe go out and buy that piece that we may be missing or weren't able to attain through the draft, we're going to have those picks without really putting the organization in a hole.
In previous years, it was just trying to interchange a couple of parts, trade one veteran player for another veteran player, and really finally, for the first time in recent memory, they really have taken the route of doing a complete rebuild, which for most teams is the way you ultimately wind up winning a championship.
Well, this year was probably the first time in a good while when the Frontenacs really committed to actually rebuilding in the right way, tearing it down and starting up again after years of sort of always looking for the patchwork solution just to try to eke out a playoff berth towards the bottom of the standings.
Tied up, backhand shot, scores! Bill Jenkins waits out the opposition.
I don't want to be here in 3-4 years and say, okay, we've got to take a step backwards. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to maintain this year after year after year. And it's unfortunate sometimes when you lose a player to the NHL. It's great for them, but it's tough on the team. But that's part of this program, this development program that we're all a part of. So I really want to see all these kids have that opportunity, if they can, to play. And again, we're just going to put piece by piece each and every year. And again, we don't want to be I don't like rebuilding, I call it retooling. And I don't want to do that every year. We're going to continue building this with, again, small pieces at a time, but you're going to see a big difference.
Unfortunately, we had to go through this to get to where we want to get to, and where we want to get to is to bring this organization to be a solid team, not just for 1 year and try and win one playoff round, and that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to be a franchise that people are proud of, that can succeed each year, not just for one kick at the can.